Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is John. I'm a filmmaker slash creator and your host for Make Limited Podcast, where we talk about how to change our circumstances when life happens. In other words, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Today, we're talking about the word system and how we should use it in our lives. Welcome everyone. My name is John, once again your host for Make Limited Podcast, and I am so glad to be here today talking to you about a word that you probably have heard before, and that's the word system. Now, for many of you, this might have a negative tone, and for some of us, it may have a positive tone. In today's podcast, we want to talk about a positive tone that gives us a perspective of how life works. And that's what I want to point you to in this podcast, because there is a lot that we can learn from this simple word, system. Okay? Now, take a look. Take a look at your surrounding. Take a look at where you are right now. You may be listening in your car. You may be listening right now if you're in the gym. You may be on a nice jog. Maybe you're just coming out of work. Maybe you're just waking up early morning. You are listening right now to something that works or is working together to produce for you this whole process that we call podcasts. Now, we're talking today about the word system. So let's look at the word and define according to dictionary. Now, the word system here is defined as a set of things working together as part of a mechanism or interconnecting network. Another definition is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organized scheme or method. And of course, there's other definitions that go along with this, but I wanted to pay attention to the first one, which targets today's podcast, which is working together as part or interconnecting network. Now, if we look around us everywhere, just like we said a little while ago, if we just look around us, if you are outside, for example, look at the trees, look at the grass, look at everything that's around you in your surrounding. If you are outside and there's grass, sometimes we are in a different area where, we're surrounded by rocks, or we're surrounded by sand, or we're surrounded by water. All of that has a system that works together to give us what we need, and vice versa. Take, for example, a tree. A tree is a system that helps multiple animals and insects live on it as it grows, each one taking and each one giving something to this tree. As the tree itself is giving, it takes. Right? It needs water, it needs nutrition, and it works as a system so that we all can enjoy a beautiful shade from a nice tree. All of this happens together. If you are inside a house, there had to be some sort of connection or network that had to come across. If we take it from the bones, for example, a house being built first has to have financial backup so that it can pay the people that are going to do the hands-on work, the hours, the months to build a home. That takes network, that takes connection to get things across and to get into a point of building. The other system that we don't see that are behind those walls, whether it be your sheetrock, whether it be a concrete wall, or whether it be block walls, or now different concrete 3D laser, I don't know, the new technology, right? Whichever the case may be, there's a system behind it that holds that house together. There's a design, there's a method of how you cut wood, of how you put concrete together so that it can make a strong foundation, so that it can make a strong house that can be held together and people can live in it. Everything that is around us has a system. Everything. You look at your closets. What's the closet system? Is to hold your clothing. The kitchen is to hold your food, to hold your plates, utensils that you use. Your garage to hold your cars and Christmas stuff that we or seasonal stuff that we put in there, right? Attics, same thing. Restrooms, same thing. Everything around us has a system that works in a very particular way to function in our lives. Now, where am I coming with this point? And this is my point. This is what I'm talking about in the beginning when we talked about the word system and how we should use it in our lives. Now, typically, as humans, we have the average Joe has a 9 to 5 job, goes to work, wakes up, goes to work, comes home, turns on the TV, wants to relax, and then does it again, maybe Monday to Friday, and has weekends off, right? That's most of us, not all of us. Some of us work 7 days out of the week. Some of us just keep working all month. Some of us just work 3 days, depending on whichever. Today we're talking about how to use this word system in our lives, because it's going to benefit us. It's going to motivate us. Now, there's a negative way this system is used, but today we're focusing just on the positive way that it can benefit your life, to just elevate it, to just give you that motivation, the inspiration to be better humans. And that's what we're doing today, because there's going to be a time where you're going to face something that you did not know, but being prepared is the best thing to do. And that's why the trees still work, the grass still grows, because it has a system. No matter how many times we cut it, it has a system that it grows again. It has a system that it still gives nutrition to the surroundings that it's at, because it's a system, right? Now there is a system that kills the systems that produce good, right? There is. But today, again, let's refocus to the good of its connection, its network, and how it just helps us in our lives. And so if you look at your everyday average Joe, right? 9 to 5, weekends off. The routine of that system is a system that may or may not be consciously known. Consciously may know that the weekend is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Unconsciously goes blind throughout, not literally, but goes blind through Monday through Friday, because they choose to non-exist and just think about the typical words that we hear often. Can this day pass any faster? Can those hours just move a little bit faster? Because every time we look at the clock, it seems like it was just the same seconds moving 10 times slower than what it was, and it looks like the time is just going backwards and forwards. We all know that feeling. At some point, we all know. We've been in a place when we want to get out and we just want to go through the motions and just move until we're free to do whatever we want, right? That is the feeling that we get. Today, we're talking about system and how we should use it in our lives. In the beginning of this podcast, we talked about the systems that are happening around us and the way things work. Just as a house is built, just as a forest is built, there's a system that takes place that things have to work a certain way. Now, for us, that system is a process that we need to unravel and lay down to see. Because again, we may be conscious and we may be unconscious of the system. But the most important part is that we need to understand how, number one, it works together as part, and two, how it networks. Okay? Again, how it works together in parts and how it networks. That is internally and externally. Okay? Each and every one of you needs to have a goal that you're looking forward to. Now, you may be thinking, well, I have a couple of goals. I want to graduate, go to school, and get married. Simple process, right? Live a happy life, and there you go, right? But you see, as our world keeps growing and as our world keeps evolving, there are changes that are happening every single day in our lives. Every single day. There are things that are working together and are networking. You see, as humans, we are evolving. We are everlasting growing because our minds are curious in their wonder. And this is why I say you should have a goal. When you're married, when you're single, when you don't know what to do in your life, you're trying to figure things out, you need to have a goal. Because that goal is going to create a system. And here we go. This is where we use the 2 points. A system that's going to put together parts and that's going to let you network. Okay? It's going to let you meet new people. It's going to let you discover new things because why? You have a goal that you want to reach and you want to reach it. I've seen so many people find goals and they go for it and they're doing so well. And then out of a sudden, their true desire comes out and they're longing for a partnership, and that partnership is not the right partnership because they're longing for the wrong thing at the wrong time. Does that make sense? So when they are looking to get something as in a relationship, they are looking for the wrong thing, the wrong goals, the wrong system. It is not time for that system to operate, but it is time for your goals to operate. And I've seen that over and over again. When people work out, right? Same thing happens. They start working out, they start doing good, they miss a day, they miss 2, 3, 4, 5, and guess what happens? Yes, complacency, relaxing, just enjoying life leads to one thing to another, and then it starts eating, starts not watching their weight, and then their goal goes into an area that is further from where they were at. Okay, we're talking about system. When you have a goal and you develop a system, it is a track that keeps you moving forward into the next area of your life. Hence, it puts together their parts and it networks. What are these parts that it's putting together, and what is this networks? Well, we talked about internal and external. Internal, putting together the parts, is you are developing yourself. You are developing yourself by knowing who you are, knowing your likes, knowing your dislikes. And this is a simple term, but in a more broader version of it, it's simply saying I'm getting to understand how I look at life through my perspective. And that is saying how you study, how you understand things, how you look at this world, how things bother you, how they don't bother you. What are you feeding your body that is affecting your character, your attitude? If you didn't know that actually having some certain symptoms in your life affect your character as a person. For example, you may think of yourself as a happy person, but there are some times that you just get angry. And that may not be that it's because of you. That may be because your body is feeling something, or it's giving that connection, and that is developing that anger, anxiety, stress in your life that you probably thought is just a problem that I have, but it's something that's been built. Something that you fed yourself, something that you've applied in the wrong area. So what does system do for our lives? Well, it creates those parts that we discover in ourselves. We start learning how we understand things. We start learning how we comprehend things. We start learning how to study. We start learning how to improve our reading and being able to open our minds to a more creative, understandable world that gives us not just one point of view, but several point of views, so that we can choose the best one out of there. That's what wisdom does when it is putting together parts internally. Networking is what it does externally, meaning that as you're getting to know yourself, you are feeling more confident. And because you're feeling more confident, you're feeling more brave and more secure of yourself. And as that happens, you start noticing that you start creating this attractiveness to people. People want to know you. People want to talk to you. People want to just have a conversation with you. People want to network with you. You start understanding that there are people that you can learn from. So you start connecting with that. You start growing. And that is the part of what we like to call network. And that's what a simple system creates and does for you. A simple system does for you. And this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the system that does this for you. So this is the one thing that we probably didn't understand, because we were looking at a system in a more negative tone than what another perspective that we could see system actually work in our lives. Again, working together as part, interconnecting network. Create new friendships. Do things that we never thought we could. This is what a system does in our life. It gives us the ability to be organized. It gives us the ability to be productive. Excuse me. It gives us the ability to grow, because we water it at its proper time. We prune the thorns or the stems that don't need to be there. We prune them, cut them. Thus, it's creating a new world, a new discovery, a build that it's working. And just like a tree is a home to birds, and it's a home to insects, and it's a home to all these things, this is the same thing that a system is building. Not only are you developing yourself and building something that is going to be strong, and it's going to be a strong foundation for your life, because no matter what the storms come, it's going to be there. But the beautiful thing is that as things come, you're able to transform. You're able to still give life. You're able to still produce things in your life that will literally help someone else. And this is the process. Because even though a tree falls, it still produces for others. It still gives life. It may be another tree, it may be roots of beautiful flowers, but it grows. It heals and it grows. Right? Now we're talking about the good system. A good system that produces fruits, that produces life. This is a system that I want to talk to you about. Or that I'm talking to you about. Not that I want to talk to you about. That I'm talking to you about. Because it's a beautiful thing to have in your life. Because when you go, like they like to say, a saying that goes here, like being, with running like chickens without a head. It's something that happens when we have no system working. We are blind and we don't know where to go or where to turn, and we go to the left, we go to the right, we just go what sounds good and what feels good, and that's okay. But you're going to be like the waves going back and forth, never having a foundation. And that starts becoming your system, which in turn turns into the system that we don't want to be in, but in the system that we create that works for us, that builds for us, and that's the system that we want to be a part of. So today we talked about a simple message of system and how we should use it in our lives. We should use it in ways that it will put together parts in our lives. Because, like I've said before many times in many of my podcasts, your greatness that you seek is in you. You need to bring it out. And that's the easy, hard part, because sometimes we think that we need to get inspiration from others, or sometimes we think that we're not going to do it until someone tells us that we're good at what we're doing. And trust me, it's hard to get out of that. But once you understand that you have a system that you're working, that you're trying to understand, that you're trying to build, and then it starts becoming more obvious of the things, because you're practicing, you're seeing the failures, you're seeing where you need to work at, you're seeing your strengths, and you're seeing what you can push. Those are the things that we look at. Building a system that's going to be putting our parts together. And not only that, but creating network. Creating people that are going to be a great help to our lives, that are going to benefit our lives. And that's what we want around us. That's what we want to network with. And that's the beautiful thing of a system, because you start growing and developing it into something beautiful. So that is all for today. Thank you for being here, and we will talk to you on the next one. All right, everyone, you have reached the end of today's podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today. I hope that you were motivated, inspired to be better humans, because this is what we do here at Make Lemonade Podcast. We talk about all the good stuff that we just take you to the next level. So if you've been inspired, if you've been motivated to be better humans, we want to know about it. And you can connect with us at our website at makelimitedpodcast.com, or you can go to our Facebook page at Make Limited Podcast, where you can send us a DM on how you've been inspired or motivated to be better humans, because we want to hear it. We want to share your stories in our podcast, on our website newsletters, and share it with the world. So thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll be talking to you on the next podcast, so stay tuned. Until then, stay amazing, and we see you then. Peace.